Welcome to the Dog Psychology Podcast with Todd and Art.
Welcome to the Dog Psychology Podcast. I wasn't sure if we were recording or not, but here we are. All right. So today, first of all, how you doing, Todd?
I'm doing good. All right. What's going on, man?
That's good. We missed last week, but we're going to be back on track here. Anything new going on over there?
Behavior, because this falls under the category, I think, of behavior. Normally, life's pretty day by day, but I stopped drinking. I was a habitual drinker. So I would have a couple of drinks every night, but since forever. And then a couple weeks ago, I just up and decided, let's let that go. And I did.
It's awesome.
And yeah, and it's like, it wasn't, it depends from a debate standpoint, would it be categorized as a problem? No, it wasn't problematic, but you debate that side all you want. But the fact that I just made the choice and stopped, and I thought I gave myself some cred. I kind of thought that was cool. And on the backside, I don't have any, health-wise or anything like that. I don't feel it. I don't feel an improvement in my energy. All that was pretty good, I think, ahead of time, but before that. But interesting on like the more behavior side of patience and relaxed and so forth. It interesting on that side of it. And so, yeah, kind of cool.
That's awesome. I quit drinking in January 2023. I can count probably like 3 times that I've had some alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say the last time I had alcohol. So, as you know, I would eat a lot of like red meat and, things like that. And when my wife released her book, and we were actually at a resort in San Antonio. We were kind of spending the weekend with my family and we were there, but it happened to coincide with the release of my wife's book. And so she's like, hey, I really want to have like a celebratory drink. I was like, let's do it, So we're sitting by the pool and I get a margarita, get some drink. And I just had one drink and not a big deal. I come back because immediately after that, we went to Oklahoma on a little vacation rental that we stay at. And I got gout when I was out there. And they say it's because like the red meat and alcohol. And so I was in so much pain. I don't know if you ever had gout or know anybody that had gout. It is the worst. It's basically because when you have too much red meat, I forgot the name of it crystallizes and it can't digest. But the only thing that attacks that or that makes that get less is having more veggies. And I eat veggies, but not a lot. So I started introducing that in my diet. So I've had 2 flare-ups since then, but now I got off red meat for about a month and a half, and I slowly started to reintroduce it, and it's been really good. So I haven't had any flare-ups. Everything's been good since then.
A long time ago, I did a post where I put alcohol down on the ground, and the dogs kind of had a rejecting smell of that.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that. I wonder how, you go and shake a client's hand, and you can smell alcohol on them.
Mm-hmm.
How that affects the dogs. Because it's what, ethanol? It would be a smell that would keep them away naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wondered about that. So
yeah.
Anything new on your side?
Just a lot of the same thing. Got a lot of trips planned for next year, which I'm really excited about. I turned 50 this weekend.
No shit.
Yeah, big on Saturday. I turned 50.
Oh, congratulations! How'd it feel?
No, I turned 50. I will be turning 50.
Coming up. I
Saturday.
thought you just this past weekend. Okay.
Yeah, well, a lot of birthdays this month. We got Colleen, we had Yoa. I think they're on the same day, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'm excited for my 50th birthday. I'll be back home with my family, and it'll be Thanksgiving on Thursday, and then Saturday is my birthday. So, and when this episode will be released, it'll probably be not for a while. So you're gonna hear this really late, but it is what it is.
Nice.
And then, like I said, we're going to, for my 50th birthday, I wanted to do the Inca Trail, hike the Inca Trail in Peru. And so I'm actually not going to go this weekend, but I am going to go in May.
Really? So you have it planned?
I booked a trip to go in May. So I'm really excited.
Client I had yesterday was from Peru.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And my roommate was from Peru when I lived there, and he went down and, went Machu Picchu and did all that. He surfed, and he went down and surfed down in Peru too. There's some really good waves down there. It'd be a cool country to go to. Good for you, man.
Yeah. So, just excited to, I've always wanted to do a trip like that. I want to do the Camino Santiago in Spain, things like that. I've always wanted to just do these trips. So looking forward to that. So in May.
All right.
But other than that, everything is good. All right. So
what are we doing today?
So today we're going to have a very special guest. We're going to have AI as a guest, and we're going to ask it some dog training questions. And I think that I texted you over the weekend because I've been getting a lot of people that have been texting or calling me and saying, "Oh, well, I asked ChatGPT, I asked AI."
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to understand that these are all, it's taking information from what people ask, right? And a lot of those things could be misleading, you know? So we haven't prompted AI to say anything. We're just going to go with what it has now. I normally use, when I use AI, I use ChatGPT, but because it's learned my responses to certain things, it's helped me, write out, let's say, a manual, things. So what I've done is I've spoken like we are here, and it just take the transcript and it creates like something out of the transcript, right? I've done that with several things that I've done. So I don't want to use ChatGPT because again, it already knows what it's going to give us a response that is me.
So it will give you your information as
Correct.
the answers to the questions.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, will this one communicate with Chat
No.
GPT?
So we're going to use Grok, which is the one from X. Elon Musk is AI. I have not used it, so it'll be interesting to. I have used it, but not for dog training stuff. I've used it like my kids want to have a picture with them and a dragon or whatever it is. You know what I mean? We've used it for things like that.
Do you think that the dog training world is safe from the AI influence?
For now, it is. I don't think anything is safe right now, personally. I think that because it is. What is it looking? It's looking patterns of behavior,
right? But again, it's like what we're about to find out is, but who's coding it?
Yeah.
They're not. So AIs, it's not like this intelligence is looking at dogs and trying to solve the riddle. Right. They're using the information that's out there, which is demonstrably, I don't want to say false, but half true across the board. So it'll be interesting on how it chooses, if it adds variables. Yeah. That'll be interesting, is if it adds variables. So, okay, this is what we believe unless this or this is true.
And the thing is, I'm not going to prompt it. I'm just going to say, kind of give them the scenario of what we have. Because sometimes you can prompt it to like, you're a world-class dog trainer that specializes in aggression, things like that. Like you can prompt it like that. But we're just going to ask it just a basic question. That's what most people will do, is they will ask a basic question. You can get as detailed as you want, but for me, we're going to ask a couple questions and see what it says. Now, the first one we're going to ask is, I have a young dog that jumps on me, right? I have a young dog. I just got a dog and it jumps on me. What can you suggest I do?
Perfect. Yeah, let's see what it says.
So let's bring this in here. Let me know if you can hear.
Okay.
I recently adopted a young dog, a puppy that is 8 months old, and the dog jumps on me constantly. Can you tell me what you suggest I do?
First off, jumping is super common with puppies. They're excited and haven't learned boundaries yet. Try ignoring the behavior when she jumps. Turn away, cross your arms, and don't give eye contact or attention until all 4 paws are on the ground. Then, raise her calmly with treats or pets right away. Consistency is key. Everyone in the house needs to do this. You can also teach her a sit command during breedings. Have treats ready. Make her sit before opening the door. Practice short sessions daily. If it's overwhelming, a trainer might help, but most puppies outgrow it with patience. Hang in there.
Not too bad.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. That ending ruined it. The whole concept of puppies outgrowing behaviors, right? I think is a mythical thing. I always believe puppies grow into behavior. You grow into it. You know what I mean? It's like you don't just diffuse behavior all of a sudden. Choose a different path on your own.
So let's break this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's pretty good though. I mean, for the most part, I sounded like something I would say is elements of that. Hey, no eye contact. Make sure the puppy's looking for attention from you of some way. This is how you give attention, so make sure we don't do those things. But again, the variable would be, so I'll ask you, when would you not turn away from a puppy?
When would I not turn away from a puppy?
Turn away from jumping, let's just say. When would you not turn your back to jumping?
I never turn away.
Well, I don't either, right? But it does work on certain energies, like a low to medium energy dog.
Oh,
It's a great
yeah.
strategy. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
turn away effectively.
Yeah. I misunderstood the question, but I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean by adding variables to it. So it doesn't take into account the dog's temperament or the human's temperament when it
Yeah.
answers questions. That's the challenge for people.
Yeah. I think also when you talk about like even low sensitive dogs, sometimes I will encourage it to jump on me
Exactly.
in those situations because I want to help build that confidence because, you know, we always talk about like, what are we after? Trust and respect, right? The dog respects me, but doesn't trust me. So I'll allow the dog to jump on me to kind of create that, I don't want to say disrespect, but that's kind of what it is, but more of a confidence building, like to trust me more.
Yeah. So to let them know it's okay. You can come into this. It's okay. And that's, I think, initially hard for some people, even trainers, to be able to be working towards a bigger point. Like you just said, okay, we're building trust. So we're not talking about jumping. We're talking about building trust. That's a bigger point. And you can still have all the respect in the world with a dog jumping on you if that dog is overly sensitive to your energy as it is, you know, being able to work to the bigger point of trust.
Yeah.
Again, I see a lot of trainers struggle with that. They're too one-dimensional. There's no jumping.
Correct it.
Yeah, correct it. It's pack leader, correct it type of stuff. And again, not working to the bigger point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so let me go back. And says, first of all, jumping is super common, you know, yes and no. They're excited. Okay, I agree with that. And haven't learned boundaries yet. Yep. Trying to ignore the behavior when she jumps. I mean, you can ignore it. It doesn't work. Then you have to address it, right? I think that's what Caesar says, ignore or address. Is something he always says. Turn away, cross your arms and don't give eye contact. What do you mean by cross your arms? Turn away, cross your arms?
Just like this, cross your arms, yeah.
Okay. And then and don't give eye contact, which I agree with that, until all four paws on the ground. Then praise her calmly with treats or pets right away. Consistency.
But what if treats cause excitement?
Right. So, but that goes to, if it does cause excitement, then we can also use treats to cause the not jumping in, which we'll kind of get into, because what would you do differently? What would you add to this?
Me?
Yeah.
We talked about like kind of the variable parts to it, right? And then give options. So what are some options here? Well, we could start with this, then we could maybe even have the dog drag a leash. You could step on the leash and that would help keep the dog from, you know.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah, that's an easy one. And then you could also, I like starting things with, well, what do you want? So she said things clearly as far as 4 feet on the ground. Okay, well, now we have a goal. So we can work towards the goal. As long as, to me, as there's a crystal clear goal, you can start to open the door to options. If you want, you know what I mean? That's the part about behavior that training overlooks. So if we want 4 feet on the ground and you bring out food and all of a sudden the dog starts jumping again, is that a positive tool?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Well, I think the thing you said that I always go to is just put a leash on. Let's recreate the scenario, put a leash on the dog, and let's use the leash as a way to limit that jumping. So let's say we do use food, or because even the presence of people brings excitement. Presence or the scent of food brings excitement. So for me, it's always trying to change that scenario with putting a leash on the dog. If they jump at me, I just step on the leash, so they create a limit. Dogs always do this. They'll jump 3 or 4 times. They try to, at least, because you're stepping on a leash, and they hit the wall, and they just sit down. And then I acknowledge that. Thank you. Appreciate that, you know? And then I'll do it again. I'll do it and within that span of like 5 to 10 minutes, I'll just go outside, come back in. So then I walk in, do the same thing. And then finally the dog will just either sit down or just lay down at your feet. They'll come in and just lay down at your feet, right? Then you can acknowledge it by rewarding. For me, it's like I acknowledge it I reward by acknowledging it, right? Or gratitude. Thank you. That's what I want. And then a lot of times I can just sit there and just pet the dog, but the dog is like looking up at you. So I'm trying to create that connection of, when you do these things, you get the thing you still want. Like, they want the affection, right? Most dogs do in those situations. Not to say most dogs, but dogs that are excited want the affection. So we'll give it to them, but they have to do it a certain way so that that becomes a pattern over and over.
Well, that's the part too that wasn't talked about. It was addressed at the beginning of that. She mentioned that the dog was excited, but that part wasn't resolved.
Well, let's ask it. Let's tell it, like, hey, food gets her really excited, makes her jump more. What do you suggest I do?
Okay.
Were you gonna say something? I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's about it. It's like, so there's mind and there's body, right? So most training, it just addresses the body. So let's ask 2 questions, I guess you could say the emotion. What's the mind experiencing? She says it's excitement. 4 feet on the floor. Does that mean the dog's calm? What are we waiting for? Is a dog dancing? So let's see if it understands the energy of excitement.
Okay.
Somehow ask it however you think you.
Okay. So you had mentioned that I use food or treats to help the dog. Now, my dog happens to get really excited with food to the point where I can't control the jumping. What do you suggest I do at that point?
That makes sense. If treats amp her up too much, switch to non-food rewards, like a calm, good girl, or a quick ear scratch when she's calm. If food's essential for training, use tiny pieces, like pea-sized kibble bits, and hold them low near her nose to encourage sitting instead of jumping. You could also redirect her energy. When she starts bouncing, toss a toy away to burn off steam before rewarding. Keep sessions short, 5 minutes max, so she doesn't overexcite. If she's still wild, try working when she's a bit tired, like after a short walk. Want me to clarify any of that?
No, that's great. That's actually not bad.
Awesome. Glad it's helpful. Let me know if anything else pops up with her.
All right. So if you guys going to use AI, maybe use Grok to help you answer.
That wasn't bad.
No, wasn't bad at all, actually.
Would you move any of that around?
Let's see. So it just makes sense. Treats amp her up too much. Switch to non-food rewards like calm, good girl, or a quick ear scratch. I mean, that's stuff that I do, right?
Yep.
If the food is essential for training, use tiny pieces. You can lessen how the dog gets overwhelmed by having a small scent of it. But I mean, even if you just have like the scent of the food,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That won't matter.
Yeah. Let's see. You could also redirect her energy when she starts bouncing. Toss a toy away. That's a redirect right there. Obviously, using a toy, tossing a toy away to burn off steam before rewarding. Keep session. Okay, so that part right there.
I would have started with the end.
Yeah.
I would have started with play with her, burn off some energy, and then practice with calm, non-food rewards. Keep sessions short. End on calmness.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Keep sessions short, 5 minutes max, so she doesn't overexcite. She is still wild. Try working her when she's a bit tired, like after a short walk.
I like that.
Yeah.
What could be a touch confusing is that if I was in the middle of teaching a dog and they got too excited, I'm not just immediately going to switch to play right there. I might stop and realize it's not working, but go play somewhere else. Don't connect those 2 events.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So don't connect play with this event that I'm trying to make calm all in this one area. Stop what you're trying to create. Realize the dog's too excited to learn. Go burn off steam somewhere else, however you choose, and then come back and try it again.
Yeah.
It almost, to me, it sounds like that's one event. That would be something I would break up.
Yeah. Okay. Now we asked about the energy level. How should I ask that question? Yeah. All right. I have a follow-up question. You had talked about the food amping her up and rewarding calm behavior. Now, what exactly am I looking for when you talk about the energy of the dog? Like, are we talking about emotions, or are we talking about physical attributes? What are you talking about?
Great question. By energy, I mean her physical excitement level, like bouncing movements, tail wagging hard, or jumping around. If she's zipping in circles or can't focus, that's high energy. For rewarding calm behavior, look for moments when all 4 paws are planted, her butt slightly lower, and she's not wiggling like crazy, more focused or still. That's when you give the treat or praise. Emotions play a part. Focus on those physical signs first, since they're easier to spot. Want tips on spotting those calm cues?
Yes, please help me spotting those cues.
Watch for her body language. Calm cues include slower tail wags, a slightly lowered head or butt, steady breathing, and all 4 paws firmly on the ground without bouncing. If she's looking at you but not jumping or snapping at treats, that's a good sign. You might notice her ears relaxed, not perked up like she's ready to pounce. Practice in low distraction moments, like when she's chilling after a play session. If you're not sure, ask her to sit gently. Compliance without frenzy means she's calm enough. Try watching her for a minute during quiet times to get a feel. Anything specific you're noticing with her?
It's not bad.
Yeah, that was good. It's funny the word compliance is okay there, though. If I use the
Mhm.
word compliance in other situations, it makes people tighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Again, asking to sit though, it's very verbal, but I get it.
I
You know what
wonder.
I find?
No, I was wondering because you said compliance. Like, I'm wondering if it comes from a human to human. Um, that word compliance goes from emotion to emotion. One person is saying that word with emotion. The human is receiving that with a certain emotion, right? But this is AI. This is not something that has. It's not real.
Right.
I wonder if that lessens the blow, so to speak, of that word.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I didn't understand it first. Yeah, good point. It's inanimate, so it maybe we don't that we don't take that energy, and then yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that was a pretty good description. I mean, the lower, the slower, the feet
Mhm.
moving. I like that they use the word stillness.
Ears, talk
I
about
use
the
that.
ears,
Yeah, I
relax.
use the
Yeah.
word stillness a lot. I say, stillness is the first step to calmness. So I like that they use that. Um, let's go now into what we talked about, the other questions about let's do the two dogs fighting.
Okay.
Let's go to that, because I think it'll actually, the other one we talked about, the resource guardian, I bet it will answer it pretty well. I want to see what it talks about with two dogs fighting.
Okay. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Hang on.
So my two dogs are fighting. What should I do?
Okay.
I just had this case yesterday too, like
You ready?
nonstop fighting. Yeah.
Hi, I have two dogs that are fighting. Can you give me some advice?
First, stay calm and separate them gently but firmly. No yelling, as it might escalate things. Grab a
Perfect.
leash or use a barrier like a pillow or blanket to create space between them. Check for any bites or injuries. If they're bleeding or seem hurt, head to a vet right away. To figure out why they're fighting, think about triggers. Was it over food, toys, territory? Short term, keep them apart during meals and walks until things cool off. Long term, try positive reinforcement training. Reward calm behavior around each other with treats. Maybe consult a professional trainer if it persists. How old
I'm
are
going
your
to ask
dogs?
it.
Is this new?
I'm going to ask it about, like, it was over food. How can you use positive reinforcement for us? So I'm okay with using positive reinforcement and using food, but the fight was over food. My fear is that they're going to get into a fight over food again as I'm trying to train them. What do you suggest?
Start by feeding them in separate rooms or crates so food doesn't trigger fights while you train. Use super high value treats like tiny bits of chicken or cheese that aren't from their regular meals, so it's clear rewards come from you, not competition. Practice leave it commands. Hold a treat in front of each dog, say leave it, then reward when they back off. Gradually bring them closer during non feeding times, rewarding calm glances at each other. Always end sessions before stress builds. Sound doable? How far apart do you usually feed them?
And Gronk just blows up. So there you go. There you go. What that tells me is that the overall arcing kind of purely positive-ish, that vibe is where most of this information is being pulled from, and that their vibe over the smaller behaviors is very similar to ours, the jumping, but it just fell apart. Would you do any of that, by the way?
Uh, well, the
And look,
first,
they said separate during walks. That was one of the first tips, was separate during walks.
keep them apart during meals and walks until cool off. Well, let's ask it. Like, and I say, I've been told that I could do a walk with the dogs.
That walking, yeah. So I mean, I'm completely opposite that advice, right? So ask it some way.
Okay, I'm going to try to instigate a little bit. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been told that I can walk my dogs together to help with their relationship. Is that something you would agree with?
Walking them together can work, but only if you're careful. Start on separate leashes, not too close, and choose quiet routes to avoid distractions. Let them sniff each other from a distance at first. rewarding calm vibes with those high-value treats I mentioned. Keep walks short and positive, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and stop if either gets tense. If they've fought over food, watch for resource guarding signs like stiff tails or staring. If things feel off, go back to solo walks for a bit. Have you tried walking them at all recently?
No, not yet, because I'm too scared.
That's totally normal. Safety first. Don't rush it, start super slow. Maybe walk them parallel on 2 leashes, about 10 feet apart, with a helper if you can. Keep it boring, no squirrels or other dogs around, and focus on keeping their attention on you with treats or toys. If they look relaxed after a few solo walks, shorten the gap bit by bit. You're not alone in this. Lots of dog owners feel the same nerves. Want tips on calming yourself down before trying?
Ask it about leadership. So
Okay.
ask it. So everything again is there's no human element that's been brought to this,
Mhm.
right? Other than stay calm. So how about I don't know how to word it. If my dog, you could say like Cesar Millan says that I need to be a pack leader. Is that true? Or something to that effect.
Cesar Millan on his TV show talks about being a pack leader. Is that something that I need to do, and is that true?
Cesar Millan's pack leader thing. It's all blown. Dogs aren't wild wolves, and humans aren't alphas in a pack. Focus on being a consistent, calm provider instead. Feed them, train them, give structure. That's what builds trust, not dominance. Positive methods, like we talked about, work way better long term. No need to yell or pin them down. If you're worried, just stick to routines and rewards. Does that ease your mind?
Yell. That's pretty funny. What did she say?
She says,
Dominance.
yeah, Cesar Millan's pack leader thing, it's overblown. Dogs aren't wild wolves and humans aren't alphas in a pack. Focus on being a consistent, calm provider instead. Feed them, train them, give structure. That's what builds trust, not dominance. Positive methods, like we talked about, work way better long term. No need to yell or pin them down. If you're worried, just stick to routines and rewards. Does that ease your mind?
What is dominance?
In your definition, what is dominance?
Dominance in dogs, it's when one tries to control resources like food, toys, or attention over another, usually through body language, not aggression right off the bat. Think staring, stiff posture, or blocking paths. But it's not about humans being bossy alphas. That's outdated. Dogs look to us for guidance because we manage their world: food, safety, walks, not because we're tougher. Treat it like a family dynamic. Clear rules, love, no fights needed. Why do you ask? Seeing signs with your pups?
Why do you ask?
Aren't parents dominant over their children?
Well, hang on real quick. Hang on. Well, it says
Okay.
like dominance of dog. It's when one tries to control resources like food, toys, or attention over another, usually through body language, not
Is
aggression.
dominance in dogs natural? Normal?
I know you said dogs are not wolves, but is dominance in dogs natural?
Dominance isn't really natural, like people think. No strict wolf pack hierarchy. Dogs form loose social bonds based on who gets resources first, like food or play, but it's fluid and changes. It's more about preference than power plays. Your pups might rank for treats if one always snags them, but that's trainable. Teach sharing with rewards. Not fighting wolves here, just teach calm coexistence. Seeing more of this between them?
I'll tell you what, this is really, it gets concerning in a sense because he who hits the buttons determines the information.
And basically, whoever feeds the machine
Yeah.
is what they get back. So
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is that it's very half true. This is exactly what you would get if you were talking to somebody at fucking Petco. It's, you know what I'm saying? They've changed part of, if you've noticed that, and this sounds, but the problem is as soon as you disagree with it, you sound like the tinfoil, the conspiracy thing. But what's happened is that there's a clear outline on how to influence with information, right? The way to use words, the way that you bring things together. It's clearly been perfected. The psychological influence of how we use words and the way that those words are. If you go back and listen to some of the stuff she says, it's perfect. How she's taking away influence from one point of view and adding influence to another. The way she uses dismissive words with one side and she uses more positive, influential words. Even the tone of her voice changes when she's talking about certain things. That's not accidental. And I know we're just talking about dog training, but I mean, we could start talking about parenting. We could start talking about trans. We could start talking about all kinds of other things that have big, strong opinions. And you're not getting anything even remotely resembling factual information. But people really lean into this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of the things we've asked so far, there have been different elements of truth to each question. Not truth. I don't want to say that word. What we or I don't want to put words in your mouth, would consider effectiveness, effective. And when you asked about the dogs fighting, that was just hogwash stuff.
Yeah,
that's hogwash stuff. You're actually I believe the advice that was given in that would cause fights, in my opinion. So what are your thoughts?
it's kind of like it's what we hear verbatim spewed out all the time, right?
That it's because that's what I'm saying. They know how to create this information, and they get it out through vet schools and these vet tech schools and the veterinary behaviorist schools, and they have the primary delivery system, apparently. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are deciding how the wording is going to be. And that's what I'm saying. You can hear certain parts of their playbook have gone into the other side, the balance trainers, and they've started to pull some of their ways. I believe you can hear certain elements of that, but they can't let go of thinking food must be present to improve behavior, and that the human affect has no effect on the way the dog's energy moves back and forth. Yeah. Like the removal of that is, I don't know the way that I want to describe that, but removing that is what? Ignorant, damaging? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's one of those things that because you mentioned about the food, like without using food, then they almost like don't have a tool, so to speak. Okay.
What's up, man? Yeah. Dogs are sitting out on the deck, and the Amazon guy didn't want to drop off the package. So he honked the horn and didn't want to come up. What were you saying about it? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that without food, like they almost don't have a tool to use, right? It's almost like they're only stuck, right? So I don't want to say that they're closed-minded, but they're only closed-minded because everything that she says, food, right? Bring out food. And is food, yes, food is an option. Yes, we can use food. Do we use food? Of course we do, we use it for to guide certain things through the scent and things like that. But and here's the thing, like sometimes when I go into a house and people are like, do you need food? No, not for this. And they're like, they look at me kind of weird, like, what? Like, no, I'll show you, Specifically, like the jumping is like, we go back to that. Like, I just put a leash on the dog. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to put this on. I'm going to walk out and come back in. I'm going to get excited. I'm just going to step on the leash. And then as soon as the dog calms down, then I'll acknowledge it. Okay. And then they're like, oh, that makes sense. They're like, you don't use it? No, I rewarded it by thank you, And they're like, oh, that makes sense. Because again, I'm not opposed to using food. I think food can be valuable, but I also know how to expand past that also. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, there's this concept that food is positive. There's this concept that food's involved in learning. And it's in my opinion, it's involved in learning non-instinctive things.
100%. Say that again.
So food is typically very useful when you're teaching non-instinctive things, non-intuitive things. And what I mean by that is walking on a treadmill, right? Something where you're trying to move a dog onto something, or you're trying to create something that's not based on the dog's instinctive understandings. And what I want people to do is deconstruct behavior. If you start every question with what does the dog want right now, you have the opportunity to make everything positive. Because if it's what the dog wants, then giving them what they want when you get what you want from them really plays into what is natural for them, which is a trial and error type of learning, which the purely positive world doesn't believe in, because they don't believe in the error part. So therefore, if a dog tries something and doesn't get it right, that failure is negative, as opposed to the dog having more focus in the game. And so I start everything, well, what does the dog want right now? It wants to come out of the crate. Okay, should we wait for it, right? So when you open that crate, that's a clicker. So as soon as you open up that crate, you just mark the behavior, and that's basically everything. So I like oftentimes to start at the end and work backwards, but they don't do that. They start with everything. Okay, you're going to take this tool. It's like all these e-collar trainers. It's no different.
Oh, 100%, by the way. Yeah.
And it's a tool trainer. Any tool trainer is the same. This tool's just food. Like, you can't start with a tool. You got to start with, well, intensity of the dog. What's triggering it? And which direction are they moving? What will move them in the opposite direction? I mean, there's so much psychology that they refuse to lean into, because I believe they associate psychology to the other side. It seems to be.
That's I like what you said about also the e-collar trainers, and I think more specifically like the franchise e-collar trainers. They do the same thing with every dog.
Yep.
And I think I have a friend of mine who worked with one of these franchises, and he told me, he's like, I just get hot in the collar. Any forward motion, you get hot in the collar.
They'll do a week-long board and train. How hot do you think that collar has to be for a week-long board and train?
I mean, I guess pretty hot, but I mean, I can do like recall stuff like pretty decently in a week with e-collar, with a lot of work, obviously, but it's low level stuff, like just like like you're talking about the clicker, right? At a distance, but it's a feel to come back, Anyways, but a lot of those franchises, it's the same thing as like, that's their only tool that they have.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and, because we're going to criticize everybody, right? I think what separates us, or like, the way we like to see things, is we'll look at the behavior and we'll say, okay, what are my options here? What can we do in this situation, right? Do we have e-collar?
Hold on. What is our goal though? Art, this is the one thing that we always have innately between us. We all know that we're trying to achieve the same goal. Where are we trying to get the dog's brain to go back to?
To neutral.
There you go. So I think we need to start with that as well, as that concept is not where they're starting from. They're not starting with the concept of fight, flight, avoidance, surrender, right? So then that's where they're starting with not listening to listening. We're not. We're starting with, let's go back. You just said it. Let's go back to neutral. Okay. And then, as you were saying,
I forgot.
Well, then you go, so what are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to do? And what are our options here?
Yeah. So we got, look at, that's why I always like to meet everybody, because it's not, for me, it's like, I have to see, because what they tell me can be completely different from what the picture they paint, right? So this is why I like to go and meet people with their dogs in person, so I can see it. And then sometimes I'll do something completely different from what they told me on the phone, because of the fact that it's just different, right? And you also talked about like fight or flight, avoid, surrender. What is it flighting toward? Because sometimes a fight or fighting towards, like, it could be, prey drive, all these other things. It could be excitement, right? These are all like fight responses. So how are we trying to get them back into like the neutral response? You do have to create some sort of like flight, but not to overwhelm, not get hot on the collar. You know what I mean? You would send me a video earlier today.
Yeah.
Which I think is also really important, because it was basically a Great Dane. I don't have it here on the laptop. I'm going to show it, but I don't have it here. It was basically a dog that was trying to flight. Most people at that moment would go with the dog and join them in the flight. It was a big dog. He was a Great Dane.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that dog to knock you down, by the way. That one time, remember that one time the dog directed? I was waiting for that.
In that position that I was in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't have that one, that was a great one, by the way, that Mastiff. That one had more weight behind it.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah. So it was, and it caught me off guard, because I was there for I don't know if you heard or watched the video. I was there for the other side. Because when I was talking about left of the circle, I made a circle like it was, that's neutral. And I said, your dog's energy is kind of left of the circle, but I was there because when I walked in, it grabbed me by the forearm and walked me in. So Great Dane. It was very mouthy, very forward, acting very dominant to the owner, like to the person I was working with. And then when I went out to the car and I opened up the back of the car, completely not expecting it, it flighted away. And then that was that series. And then it becomes like we're talking about. So once the brain moves away, how do you motivate it back? The first piece I moved was the owner.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, go stand over here.
Call it. Because it's in flight now, and this is because I talked about the fight response. Now this is a flight response. Now you're trying to get a little bit of fight, a forward movement. You know, not all fight is bad.
You know, I mean, I can show it'll show up a little bit
I went
here.
to open up the hatch of my truck.
Can you see it?
Which direction is he moving?
Away from it.
Okay, so
away
this
from
is
the
the
car.
opposite of everything we've dealt with so far. Now, psychologically speaking, reward even happens during fear. So if he flights all the way away from this, what was rewarded?
The flight.
Flight, running away. So he said, oh, that didn't feel safe, so I chose flight. Now I'm still alive, so the next time I open that thing, what is he gonna do? He's gonna flight.
Okay.
Okay, so I let him partly didn't have a choice because he really moved quick. And we stopped
This is so
right
high
here.
tech.
So I said, you can have some distance, and now we're gonna learn how to cope with this thing. So movement is the key to behavior. So if your dog is pulling you, stopping that movement helps them relax and surrender. If your dog is fearful, getting them to move closer is how you get the brain to learn. All right, so right here, why don't you do this for me, Mom? Walk over here, because you're now a reward.
Okay.
And an encouragement, I should say more of a motivation to get closer to this scary thing. See?
Mm-hmm.
He started to follow you to it. So now at least I have something that he'll come up towards. Now we are supposed to just act like we belong here. If I tell him it's okay and I look at him and do all of these things, it will be counterproductive.
Right here as you're talking.
Can't go beyond this. You can stop here though.
Oh, he does
There we
not want to
there,
go.
Right
Okay.
there. Now watch. What does he do? He immediately comes back. Had I let him flight, he'll never come back. Okay? There we go.
I should have let him have
This is
more
who he
distance when I
naturally
watched
is.
this in
He's more this-
replay.
Remember on that circle, I pointed to the left of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when he's
Yeah.
behind you.
I said he practices all this to the right,
Right.
but he's more naturally to the left. Right? And I
Okay.
hadn't seen this before. I hadn't
Yeah.
seen this side of him. But it's why he's getting so almost intoxicated with that control, because oddly enough, insecure dogs become some of the worst
Yeah.
offenders of like dominant style behavior.
Okay.
Because dominant dogs know how to do it.
Yeah.
It's like they watch
He's
TV.
a poser.
Love that. It's perfect. He's a poser.
Do me a favor?
Yeah.
Tell him to see what it does. Call him, make like kissing.
I got another part of the video. That's the part that, I mean, I get the whole dominance conversation. I don't think dogs show up to dominate anything. There's a difference between dominating and dominance, though. And they're, you know, a very, very strong, confident dog is seen as dominant by the other dog. So removing that is confusing for people. Now, the act of dominating is where they're right. We're not trying to dominate dogs. I believe the whole concept is you have to have a dominant plan. It means that you have to have the plan that's the strongest, that's followed no matter what. That's how I see it. But like a dog like this, don't tell me this dog's not acting dominant in the house. This dog is climbing on that lady, grabbing with its mouth, doing that. It doesn't mean it's being that is a category of behaviors that even dogs would sit around and call forward behaviors, right? And so it's just a word to describe. It's unfortunate it has so much negative connotation behind it, you know, that. So this is where the dog stops, it gets in, it starts to sniff everything, and it goes from being.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
I'm gonna have Adam put these clips above it.
Tell him he's a good boy.
Good boy.
There we go.
Good
There we
boy.
get to do a favor. There we go. All right. Calm back.
Tyson.
Longer leash would have been good too. I just wasn't
So he's
expecting
figured
what
out
I
he
got.
can
I
come to
just
this
took it as
side.
it
He's gonna
happened.
hang out here now. So now he's gonna
The
sniff it.
curiosity
That's
too is good.
That's good.
Yeah, totally.
Tails up a little bit. I'm gonna let him have some distance now. Now look, he stopped there on his own, right? What did he do on his own?
Came back.
If I would have let him flight back there,
He wouldn't have came back.
none of it. We wouldn't be getting any
Watch
of
this part right here.
I'll let him have this.
Sees his reflection.
Move to the side over
I
from
was
him.
like, what the hell?
There we go. So we'll hang out here for a second.
It's good.
It's good, he's sniffing.
So using that curiosity, it's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, just seeing that bit ending there. And again, that's the psychology part, that if you're working with nervous dogs, I'm imagining Gronk's going to talk about using food, being patient, but a tip such as wait for them to start to sniff, and that will help you understand that they're less nervous. I wonder if they talk about things like that, you know?
Okay. Hang on real quick. Okay. I forgot I was going to ask you. It's early, man. It's early in the morning. Just kidding. All right. So let me start up a new chat with this one here. Let's give it another let's ask us some random, because I know we'd asked about resource guarding, because I already know what it's going to say. It's going to talk about, like, use food. I'm going to say I'm the resource. It's guarding me as a person.
My dog won't let other family members approach me without trying to snap at them.
Okay. I need some help with my dog. I have a 4-year-old dog that sleeps on the couch with me. I'm sorry, actually lays on the couch with me when I'm watching TV. But anytime I have family members come over, the dog tries to attack my family members. Can you tell me what that behavior is and what I need to do to fix it?
That sounds tough. Your dog's behavior might be resource guarding. He sees the couch or you as his territory and feels threatened by newcomers. To fix it, first desensitize him, have family stand far away, reward calm behavior with treats, and gradually let them closer over weeks. Never punish him. That worsens fear. Consistent training helps. Maybe a pro trainer for aggression. Keep visits short at first and crate him if needed until trust builds.
Okay. Brought the food in there again. Now, here's the thing, by the way. I think we can all agree on, I think everybody on all sides of the aisle would say that is resource guarding, right?
Yeah.
So, we get that right. So we see it. I just think the process on what we would do may be a little different. It sees the territory feels threatened by newcomers. To fix this, first desensitize him. Have family members stand far away. Hang on.
So what are the assumptions being made here? So again, this is playing with words, in my opinion. So there's 2 words in there that come up that make the assumption that this is coming from what?
From the dog.
Well, from the dog feeling what?
Oh,
Nervous.
Yeah.
Nervous. So
Threatened
it even
by newcomers. Yeah.
That is the first one, and then towards the last sentence, it talks about nervous behaviors, or don't ever punish, because that will make nervous behaviors worse. So what they just said is that you can't correct that because it'll make so there's an assumption it's nervous, because it doesn't believe in dominance, right? So there's no innate dominant control. There's no fuck you control from the point of view.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something real quick, because it says have family stand far away, reward calm behavior. I'm going to say my
Over
family
weeks.
now doesn't want to come visit me. Like, what should I do?
Okay.
What do you suggest I do if I can't have family members come over because they are too fearful of me working with the dog? They're afraid to get bitten.
Start small. Train without them around first. Work on basic obedience like sit and leave it daily, rewarding calm focus on you. Once he's reliable indoors alone with you, do controlled setups. Family stays outside initially, just visible through a window. Toss treats when they appear, but keep dog leashed, praising heavily for ignoring them. No interactions yet. Progress super slow, maybe 1-minute sessions at first. If bites happen, muzzle train him for safety during visits so everyone relaxes. A behaviorist could guide this tailored to your dog's triggers. Patience is key.
Okay, I'm going to also ask it one more thing. I'm going to say that my dog is highly obedience trained already.
Yeah, there was something that she said that, what did she say? Oh, reward avoidance.
Praise heavily for ignoring them. Praise
So what would
heavenly for ignoring them.
is that good advice, Art?
I mean, here's the thing. It goes because they start off with saying work on basic obedience, right? So they're trying to use obedience with, they're mixing obedience and behavior, right? And so they're using obedience to when the dog is focused on you, I guess. Praising heavily for ignoring them, not necessarily. I'm not going to be like, here's where I think people will get confused with that, is because they could be so far away, let's say across the street, and they're okay at that distance. But as soon as you lessen that, the dog's going to probably explode. But that's not something I would do.
Well, to me, it's just like, do you want a dog to ignore a baby? No, we want it to accept. Right. Ultimately. So here's the thing, if you set out for the dog to ignore people, that means that you're not trying to get the dog social with people. You're just trying to deal with whatever the dog's behavior may be. So I would take full avoidance, right? I would take like a conditioned avoidance of people. If the other option was that when I get near people, I bite them. And there was no in between, right? I can't get you from biting to acceptance, but I can get you from biting to ignore. Then I would take that, right? It would never be my goal, but that's what I'm saying is that rewarding ignore I think we talked about this before. I've worked with plenty of dogs that were in the service dog training, and they do lots of reward for ignore behavior of other dogs. And what has happened in these dogs, when another dog gets close, they don't know how to deal with it. And it would turn into these real, hard biters in that moment, because they were always taught avoidance, and then that gap closed.
Okay, let me ask you something real quick. We should maybe ask about medication.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be very positive about medication, I would imagine. It's going to have like in addition to training with a veterinary behaviorist, medication can be effective, is what it will say. Guessing.
Okay. What do you think about using medication to help my dog's actions towards my family members?
Medication might help if a vet behaviorist diagnoses anxiety or aggression issues. Things like fluoxetine can calm him, but it's not a quick fix. Get a pro checkup first. Meds work best with training, not alone. If it's bad, ask about short-term anti-anxiety meds for visits. Don't self-prescribe.
Okay, I think I'm over her now.
Yeah. Well, those were predictable answers.
Yeah.
I think
I didn't think that it was going to give us any medical advice, obviously, because once they start talking about medication, they say go seek with a veterinary behaviorist.
And there's not a veterinary behaviorist on the planet that won't prescribe every medication they can.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it goes now.
But that's their tool.
That's their tool. Great point.
That's their tool, right? We got
I can't tell you how many won't even get near the dogs. They won't get near them.
By the way, there was you're not on social media, but Caesar had made a video like this or that, like what would you use, a slip lead or a flex leash, and he would say what it was. And then I can't remember what the question was, but a lot of them were like, it depends. It depends. It depends.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he doesn't have black and white answers on just about anything, and that's the behavior, Like it depends. Options. That's an option. That's a choice. I mean, that was interesting. That was a good call on that.
This was a fun one.
Not very optimistic about, the AI future, as far as it's going to trap people into following paradigms. It's not necessarily getting people informed. We're being narrowed into other people's paradigms, is what sucks.
What someone told me is that it affirms what you were already kind of thinking in a way, or what you're, because there's a thing right now where someone was talking about, like, they were depressed and this and that, and said something like, I'm thinking about unaliving myself, and AI says, I think that's a good option. And the guy ended up unaliving himself.
There's been several cases of that, where they've tried to take him to court and bring some responsibility to it. I just think humans need to be cautious. Yeah, I've always kind of had that element of just, I don't know, just because you're an expert doesn't make it necessarily true. I mean, my God, we grew up on the food pyramid. We were told to eat as much bread and rice as you could. So I don't know. And sorry guys, sorry that Grok is going to give you that information, and that more information is in that genre, and it needs to be more human responsible. It needs to be brought back more to what we can do to help that. Because it's interesting how it separates aggression as a separate category of behavior from relationship. It talks about it as if it's a disease.
Yeah.
Do you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
They talk about aggression like it's a disease, like something went wrong with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't bring it back to the responsibility of the way the dog was in the environment, what the human did, what they didn't do. And it's grossly irresponsible.
Well, it goes back to, like, as a society, like, we don't take responsibility for anything that we do.
No.
I always have to blame others, you know? This is the same thing.
You know what I've realized, I'm always trying to reflect on why sometimes I'll put so much pressure on people. One of the things I've realized, because I did this yesterday, is when I walk into a house that's got, like, the dogs are super high energy, like there's a lot, the dogs are, and I don't just mean high energy excited. It's like this dog yesterday was so anxious, it went 30 minutes straight with vocalizations towards the owner, like, right, because the owner was 3 feet away and the dog couldn't get to her. I'm like, energy doesn't dissipate. It just changes forms, right? So that would go from the dog to the owner, from the owner to the other owner, and then it would go into me, and then I would give it back to the owner. In a sense, I'm like, look, because every time it would get to a certain point, I'd be like, I would look at the owner like, I want the owner to never forget that the experience you're in right now is because of this thing you've done. Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to need a lot of internal reminders to make a change. And I respect the difficulty in change, but my goodness, the fact that this dog is at this level of badness. And then obviously the flip side, when it's that bad, the human has gotten everything they want. When a dog is spoiled to the level of the human is innately satisfied, but to do that level of selfishness means the dog is the one that's gotten thrown completely out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
I think the owners need to feel that sometimes. I don't always say it's right. It's not always the right call, but the point is I'm with you for 2 hours. I want you to remember some of this forever. And so I'll keep them in these really uncomfortable positions for a while, so that there's a recollection anyway. So.
All right. Well, this was a fun one. Long story short, there's some things you can trust with AI, some things that you can't trust with AI. Just like anything else, find somebody you trust that can help you out.
Yeah, right. Always call a professional. Call Art.
Yeah, don't call me.
Call Art.
Call you. Hey, by the way, I need a new Pack Life hat. I had that black one you gave me last year, and it's like I would wear it every day, and it got faded because I wore it every day.
I have one right here. I'll bring it next time I see it. I got one right there. Right on. All right, brother.
All right. Well, this was a great episode. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you guys aren't subscribing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. And we look forward to bringing you more episodes on the Dog Psychology Podcast.
All right, guys. See you next week.